I'm Sharon Bill. Welcome to my Music Theory Tuition series where I work with you step by step through the ABRSM Discovering Music Theory grades. I'll work through every single exercise and explain everything you need to know. You can access information about the books I have available to help you on my website. Go to sharonbill.com. For advert-free and longer lessons, you can become a patron at patreon.com/SharonBill. If you can give me a like, that would be super, and please do subscribe to my channel to stay updated. You can support this channel by buying me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/SharonBill. Let's continue with the topic of pitch, looking further into sharps, flats and natural signs. And as I said before, do make use of the piano keyboard, just visualising the piano keyboard. Do get used to just sketching your own quick version, just so that you can see what's going on. And then we're going to have to just revise what sharps, flats and naturals actually do. We will be looking into this further. However, for now, it's enough to say that a sharp raises a note by a half a step. So we can go up a step or up a step. It's nothing to do with whether it's a white key or a black key or whatever instrument you play. It's just the very, very next possible note upwards. It's the smallest interval in Western music. A flat lowers by half a step. Again, doesn't matter whether it's white to white, black to white, or so on. And a natural sign pops things back to the normal note and gets rid of any previous sharps or flats. And so we've got to choose which is the highest of these pairs of notes. Now we know, regardless of what note it is here, that the natural has got to be lower than the sharp because a sharp raises a note. And so, of course, a sharp raises a note, and so this must be the highest. And if we think what's actually happened here, we've gone from a note F in bass clef, good boys deserve football. We've gone from a note F up half a step, we've sharpened it to an F sharp here. And so now in this next one, we know that a flat lowers. So we've got the natural and we've got a lowered version of that down half a step. So of course the natural must be the higher of the two. So we tick that. And looking closely at what's happened here, we've gone treble clef A and then we flattened it down a half step, a semitone, and that's A flat. Again in this next one on this line, we know that a natural has got to be higher than a flat, regardless of what note it is, because a flat will lower the note. So that's the highest of the pair. And if you think what's going on, we've got a B, just one step below middle C in the bass clef. So there's the B, and then we've lowered it to B flat, and therefore the B is higher than the B flat. You can see that quite clearly on the piano keyboard. And this is why I say it's good to follow things through on a piano keyboard visually, because, you know, on some instruments it's hard to see what's going on. And I know that from, say for example on the flute, from C to D, there's an awful lot of change in the fingering, when actually, or C to C sharp, or C sharp to D, it's actually very, very close, even though there's a lot of fingering change. So it's just easier to see, regardless of what instrument you play. And so perhaps have a go of this final row on exercise 2, and then we'll check the answers through together. So I'm hoping you've had a go. Let's try it together. It's always better to try on your own because you'll learn more actively that way than just by passively copying as I work with you. And it's okay if you go wrong, you can always just rub it out. You'll learn much more thoroughly that way. So here we have a bass clef D and a bass clef D sharp, and we know that a sharp raises a note, and so the sharp must be the higher of the two. We have the same scenario here, regardless of what note we're playing. We can see that it's been raised by a sharp, that must be the highest. It's actually a treble clef C raised to C sharp. And of course, if a flat lowers a note, the natural version of that, just the plain old note, must be higher because the flat lowers. And if you see what's happened here, we're on treble clef E, that's the E flat, so of course the E is higher. So let's press on to exercise 3. We have the same thinking here, however this time we've got to tick the lower of these pairs. So we have a sharp and then we have a natural. So really that natural is cancelling that sharp and putting us back to the normal note. And so we know a sharp raises, therefore the natural must be lower. And if we see what's going on here, we've got a bass clef, all cows eat grass, G sharp, and then the natural cancels the sharp and takes it back to the G, which we can tell is lower. And so here we have a flat and a natural. We know a flat lowers, and so the flat must of course be the lower of the two, and we can see that A flat is indeed lower than A natural. And finally, we know that a sharp raises, and therefore the natural version must be the lower of the two, and we can see we've gone from bass clef C sharp to C natural. The natural is lower. So that's that exercise completed. Now let's just look at the bottom of the page and let's just look at this topic a little bit more closely. And we can see that there are going to be some different scenarios where we've got sharps or natural signs and so on. And an accidental affects only the note that it's next to in pitch. It doesn't affect any further octaves at all. It's just literally that one F is sharpened on pitch. No other octaves are affected. And it lasts until the end of a bar, and then the bar line cancels it out. And so it automatically goes back to natural in the next bar. However, because that is the same pitch F, it's in the same bar, that note is still F sharp. If you wanted it to not be F sharp, you'd have to put a natural sign there to get rid of the F sharp before the bar line does that job for you. And so we can see here that's an F sharp, it's been given the accidental. It is still F sharp because no bar line has cancelled it. However, this note, although it's note F, it's an octave higher. And if you count, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's 8 notes higher. And so, for example, it would be like saying this F is sharpened, but this F is unaffected. It's not the same pitch, even though it's the same note name. It's an octave higher. And so an accidental only affects the pitch that it's next to. And so that is automatically an F natural. If you wanted that also to be sharpened, it needs its own sharp sign. So looking at this further, here we have a B, the B just below middle C and the bass clef. It's been given a flat sign. Notice the flat sign comes first in the music because we need to know before we play the note. It's no good telling us afterwards because the note's already been played. So here we have a B flat. Then the bar line cancels that, it just lasts for one bar. And so here it's automatically gone back to just normal B. There's no need to add a natural sign because the bar line has done that for you. And so here we see what I was referring to earlier. We have an F sharp. This would still be F sharp. If you want this to be just normal F, we've got to cancel this because the bar line hasn't done that for us. And so this is an F natural taking us back to the natural state, getting rid of this sharp before the bar line does that job for us. I hope this is helpful to your studies. Please do like and subscribe to stay updated. If you'd like to support this channel, you can buy me a coffee, and for advert-free lessons, you can become a patron. Do visit my website where you'll find many resources available to help you. Visit sharonbill.com. Thanks for watching. Bye.